I'm a local expert, I'm a professional, and I take care of my clients. I pride myself in educating my clients, and I'm also really sarcastic and a storyteller. So why don't you guys get to know me? What's up, guys? This is Paco the Realtor, local expert storyteller, right now barbecuer. Hold on one sec. Turn these bad boys over. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope everybody is well. Barbecuing in the back, drinking my new favorite drink, Moscow Mule, and talking real estate, right? All right, guys. So today I want to tell you about Robert and how Robert ended up living in his car for 3 days. It wasn't that he planned to live there for 3 days, it's that he wasn't prepared and unfortunately tried to take shortcuts and ended up in his car for 3 days. So let me explain what I mean by that. So I thought that was a dog behind me. It's the sprinklers. So the question is, why is it such a pain in the ass to sell a house and buy a new one? Well, for the obvious reason is the first one is that buying and selling a house is already challenging to begin with, and now you're doing it twice at the same time. So let's start there, right? Second reason is because at the end of the day, what ends up happening is you have to time it perfectly. You have to time the sale, the close, and the purchase. And let me explain why this makes sense, or I mean why this has happened. Let's say that I have two 30-day escrows. A 30-day escrow to sell my house and a 30-day escrow to buy my house, right? Well, on the surface, that sounds fine. But really, to buy your next house, it should probably be a 33 to 35-day escrow. Reason being is for the following. If I close exactly in 30 days on the sale of my home, and let's say it closes on a Monday, I ain't going to get the funds wired to me until that day or early Tuesday morning. Then I have to wire the money needed to buy my next house. So let's say I wire it Tuesday, they don't get it till Wednesday. And let's assume I've already signed loan docs, I've already signed the loan docs and got everything ready. So they receive the funds and now they set up for funding for recording. Well, that already put me into Thursday. So if I went ahead and closed my house escrow on Monday, but I don't have the money and I have to wait for the county to do what it's got to do, it doesn't happen until Thursday, that's 3 days. What happens with those 3 days? Do you just magically stay in the house rent-free? No, because the person who bought your house wants to move in. So what do? Well, it's all about timing. So one thing we do is, hold on guys, turning over my steak here. One thing we do is we do what's called close of escrow plus 3. That's worst case scenario. Close of escrow plus 3 means the following. What that means is I get to close my escrow. And I have 3 days to move out. I don't have to pay any rent back, interest, or nothing. I have 3 days. That's it. So if everything goes as planned, I have 3 days. But the reality is that what happens if it doesn't go as planned? What happens if it takes 5 days to close? What happens if it takes 6 days to close? What happens if it takes 7 days to close? Now what are you going to do? So the second option is to do a rent back. To say, hey, I need 7 days after close of escrow. After I close, I'm going to give you 7 days of interest, which is determined based on their mortgage divided by 30. I'll pay you that, but let me live there 7 days. But the seller has to agree to that. So something to consider. I mean, the easiest way is just to move out and then have a place ready to go, right? But then you have to find a place to move your stuff, a storage facility or whatever it may be. Now you're moving twice. So obviously it's easiest to go from A to B. So what Robert did was he sold by himself. He did it for sale by owner. And the reason he did it for sale by owner is because his brother-in-law was buying the house. So they thought, I could save the commission because I know the person buying. I guess that makes sense, right? But what Robert failed to understand was that it makes sense if everything goes as planned. And those of you who have bought and sold know nothing ever goes as planned. So Robert sold his house. His brother-in-law, who was married with 3 kids, gave their 30-day notice. It just so happened that the escrow was delayed by 4 days. Well, when you give your 30-day notice at a complex, you have to be by a certain day. They had nowhere to go live. So he had no choice but to move out and let them move in so they can go ahead and close. Well, where's Robert going to go? Well, Robert being Robert, he was trying to save a buck, so he went and lived in his car. He could have gone to a hotel, I guess, for a few days, but he chose not to. All this happened was because since Robert didn't use a realtor, he didn't know the good and the bad of what could have happened, and therefore it cost him. So if you're looking to sell and buy, and now you have I just saw a beautiful hawk pass by me, over me. If you're looking to buy and sell, and you're thinking, how the hell am I going to do this? It starts with a plan. And the plan goes as following. Step 1, how much is my home worth? Step 2, if I sell it, how much money exactly is left over for me? Step 3, how much do I qualify to buy the next home? Step 4, what price point am I buying in based on the amount of down payment I'm going to give? Step 5, list my existing home. Step 7, start looking for my new home. I cannot show you houses until your house is at least listed. Then let's assume somebody buys it. Obviously, there's what we call a contingency, which means that you could get a buyer today, but they don't have to move. They're not allowed to close escrow until you find your replacement home. So therefore, you're not forced out early, right? And then you coordinate the closings. The problem is now you have 2 loans, 4 agents, 2 escrow companies, 2 insurance companies, 2 sellers, 2 buyers, 2 title companies. It only takes one of them to screw up. And then if they screw up, what happens to your escrow? It goes to crap. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that you need to be smart and make sure you plan it out accordingly to exactly. Sorry guys, I had to turn my steaks. They're pretty much ready now. That you have to plan it out accordingly. We do this for a living, and even us only have limited control, but at least we can anticipate. You who do not do this for a living struggle with that. So if you're planning on selling and buying, do me a favor, don't be Robert. Plan it out. Find somebody who's going to be able to coordinate all the logistics, who's going to be able to anticipate the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's going to be able to decide whether we need a close of escrow +3, whether we need a contingency, no contingency, whether we need a rent back for 7, 14, 21 days or longer. So you're not living out of a hotel or the back seat of your car. So you can minimize a lot of. My daughter's screaming inside, and I have no idea why. So if you're thinking of buying and selling, let's plan it out in detail so you can go ahead and do what you got to do. Sorry about the movement, guys. She's fine. Turns out she's on the phone. All right, guys. So selling and buying, pain in the ass? Yes. Can we eliminate a lot of that? Absolutely. Can we make it a lot more efficient and less pain and less pains? Yes. But understand, you have to understand the process. All right, guys? So I hope this helped at least one person who was looking to buy and sell and was like, well, what do we do? How do I do it? Let's be honest. It's extremely overwhelming is the problem. Overwhelming is where everybody struggles with it. All right? All right, guys. Taco Tuesday with Paco. Today was about selling and buying. I'm in my backyard making steaks. It is absolutely beautiful weather now that the breeze kicked in. Got my Moscow Mule. I hope everybody else is enjoying their evening. God bless, and I will see you guys tomorrow, or maybe on Therapy Thursday. Good night, guys. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. Hope you love the content. Subscribe below or follow me on social media. Just type Paco the Realtor.